With Blightwalker temporarily sidelined, we quickly took the opportunity to get back to work on some of our other projects. The Avenger remained stationary over Eastern Europe as our engineering team continued to work on our new radio tower. It was going to take them almost a week to finish construction, so in the meantime I focused on coordinating some of our other outstanding operations. First, I caught up with our covert ops team. Morgan and Varnas had just finished escorting Dr. Thawan into Templar territory, and they had returned with another one of Geist's little gifts. This time, the eager cultist had sent along some new schematics that would allow us to modify our combat implants in a way that would make them reusable. Never one to be outdone, Bedos had quickly followed up with a gift of her own. She offered us some new innovations that she promised would improve the performance of our energy weapons. It was starting to feel like our allies were being almost too generous these days, but I guess it made sense given the season. I just wish it didn't always feel like these gifts had strings attached. Another day passed, and we soon learned that Blightwalker had sent us a little gift as well. One of the Illyrium cores we had recovered after our most recent confrontation with the Hunter had apparently been yet another trap. It had exploded while we were adding it to the Avenger's inventory, injuring a member of our science staff. Dr. Garza would be spending some time in the infirmary over the holidays. Another few days passed, and Tigan's research finally paid off. He eagerly called the command staff down to his lab, with the notable exception of Lily. I guess he had finally realized I was using her to keep tabs on what he was doing. Tigan started off by claiming vindication, stating that the information he had retrieved from the Codex had been well worth the massive damage caused to our shadow chamber. That was certainly debatable, but I decided it wasn't worth arguing about. He went on to explain that he had discovered numerous medical files detailing how the Ethereals, the alien masterminds behind Advent, had apparently fallen ill. Although their minds were still impossibly powerful, their bodies were failing, and they had conquered the planet in hopes of finding some sort of cure for their condition. Tigan had become convinced that the human slurry we had recovered from the Advent Forge was somehow related to the Ethereals' efforts to rebuild their bodies. Unfortunately, there was no way to know for certain without getting access to more information about the Avatar project. This brought us to Tigan's real goal. Everything he had told us was just to warm us up to the idea of once again trying to capture another codex. Bradford was just as skeptical about the idea as I was, but Tigan insisted that we wouldn't actually need to bring one back to the Avenger this time. He said that we could just download the information we needed out in the field with one of his skulljack devices. I wasn't really comfortable with his proposal, but I guess it was all a matter of perspective. Last time, his experiment had almost killed everyone aboard the Avenger. This time, it only threatened to kill 5 or 6 of our field operatives. I guess that qualified as an improvement. It wasn't much longer before we were given an opportunity to follow through with Tigan's request. Word came in that Advent was almost done with the construction of their new jamming technology, and they had just gathered numerous psychic peacekeepers into one place to power their new devices. They had even flown in an Advent general to oversee the last stage of the project. We had a narrow window of opportunity to shut down the project before it could be finished, but our readings were off the charts. The entire area was practically flooded with psychic radiation, so our only hope of success was to send in our own psychic specialists to fight back the tide. Naz took command of the operation, yammering about ley lines and triumvirates. I won't even pretend to know what he was talking about, but he insisted on bringing along both of his disciples. Deus was quick to agree, even though he hadn't quite finished his training. Atlas was still exhausted from his last mission, but he joined Naz in the hangar bay anyway, insisting that his visions warned him of dire consequences if he wasn't there to finish the Holy Trinity. Captain Salvidi and Henrik volunteered to join the squad as well, confident in what they were jokingly referring to as the 3 wise men. I reluctantly approved the team lineup, but insisted that Greenguard be allowed to tag along as well. After all, someone needed to keep the rest of the squad alive. He was also the only one who actually knew how to use Tigan's skulljack. As powerful as our Psi troopers were, they were headed into the unknown. There were too many variables at play, and I was genuinely worried that it was going to take a miracle to bring everyone back alive.
just got a tip from a resistance contact in the field. A high-ranking Advent officer was spotted moving through the area with limited escorts. This could be a chance for us to disrupt their current operations and throw off their command structure. Your orders are to eliminate that officer with extreme prejudice. Menace 1-5, we're tracking the Advent General and his escorts, but we don't have an exact fix on their location. Sweep the area and eliminate the target along with any other hostiles that stand in your way.
As I expected, the psionic readings we detected in this area can be attributed to a number of psionically powerful aliens near our position. I would urge caution, Commander.
Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to episode 41. Today, by special request, we're fielding an all-psychic squad, or at least as close as we can get to one. I know it's not quite... Oh, hold on. We just caught a glimpse of some enemies off to the right there. Let's just take a closer peek.
On the move.
Commander, that codex provides the ideal opportunity to infiltrate the Advent network. We will need to move in with the Skulljack to initiate the process.
Okay, I knew there were going to be codices on this mission. I just didn't think we were going to run into one so quickly. Let's bring the whole squad a bit closer, and we'll take those guys down next turn. I know this isn't much of a Christmas special, but it's the closest I could manage in a game like XCOM 2. We've got plenty of snow and ice, and instead of lights, we've got psychic radiation and energy weapons.
Eyes on the prize. I'm on it. Roger. I've got my eyes on it.
Well, I was hoping those guys would come towards us, but that's fine. I can still work with this. We need to stab that codex in the brain with our Skulljack, and this is a pretty ideal opportunity for it. Good luck, Green Guard.
They've got our position.
Oh geez, that's a lot of enemies.
Jack deployed.
Nice. That takes care of the codex and gets us the data we need. Now comes the tricky part, surviving what comes next.
I'm in.
Commander, I believe we are seeing something entirely new. An alien species that has so far managed to elude capture or observation by resistance forces. I strongly advise a cautious approach.
Okay, we've got 7 enemies on the field. Most of them are psychic. 2 of them can teleport. And one of them is an avatar, essentially the game's mid-boss. This is quite possibly the most dangerous situation we've ever put one of our squads in, so we need to be extremely careful how we play out our actions here. First, I think we'll move Salvidi up. The avatar's got a decent amount of armor, so we need to take that out as quickly as possible.
Doable.
Of course, we'll also try to catch other enemies in the blast radius, if possible.
Tracking target.
Not a bad start. And there goes the avatar. Like the Warlock, the Avatar will automatically teleport to a new defensive position every time we manage to injure him.
Finally.
And like the Codex, the Avatar can also teleport during his own turns, which means he can get a flanking shot on pretty much anyone he wants. What we need to do is keep chipping away at him, but we also need to neutralize him before the alien turns to minimize the damage he can do to our squad. Unfortunately, the Avatar has teleported himself pretty far away from us at this point. I'm not sure if we'll actually be able to get line of sight on him again before the end of the turn, so let's take care of Green Guard real quick. Obviously, I parked him in a pretty vulnerable position, but that's fine. We'll move Deus up and he'll cover Green Guard with a stasis shield. Now let's see if we can move Atlas into a position where he can actually draw line of sight. Ah, there we go.
Finally.
Okay, Atlas has line of sight on the Avatar, and I'm really tempted to just have him hit the thing again. We've already done a pretty decent amount of damage to the Avatar, but I guess we've already got a lot of enemies on the field, and we're on a pretty tight time limit, so let's just lock him down for now.
Protected.
That just leaves Legion, and there's no more enemies in sight, so we'll just move him up and put him on Overwatch. But I do need to remember to improve his mobility the next time we get the chance.
I am watching.
We're picking up an inbound Advent transport. The aliens are going to try and extract the General from the AO. Don't let them get on board that ship.
It appears to be capable of repairing its physical wounds.
Okay. We've only got 4 rounds to intercept the Advent General, and that entire squad of priests is hiding down on lower elevation. I'd rather not lose the mission if I can help it. Those jamming towers will definitely be an annoyance. But for the moment, I think our biggest priority needs to be taking out that Avatar. We can keep locking him down with stasis shields, but the sooner we kill him, the sooner we can start pushing forward to find the General.
Let's do this.
Naz just got line of sight, so we'll have him toss out some soul fire. It does a decent amount of damage, but more importantly, it automatically hits and it completely ignores armor. Well, looks like the Avatar teleported again, but this time he conveniently moved just within reach of Henrik. We're obviously going to hit this thing with Rend. We just need to decide where to move.
My strike surges forth.
Alright, that takes another chunk off the Avatar's health bar, and it conveniently places it right near Atlas. Let's bring him up and take another shot at the Avatar.
Here I come. This may be painful.
That puts the thing on the brink of death, and since we know that we can deal automatic damage with Soulfire, we'll just bring Deus up and he can finish it off.
Esto puede doler. Reconoce que ha sido bueno.
There we go. I'll admit, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
I'm going.
But then again, we did luck out because all those priests and codices decided to just sit out the fight. Speaking of which, I guess we should go see what they're up to.
I'm on it.
Well, we've got one in sight, but we know there's at least 4 more enemies down there. Fortunately, Green Guard is using a weapon that inflicts automatic critical hits against psychic enemies. I guess we'll put Salvidi on Overwatch and let's see what those priests do.
can't fight it!
Okay, Green Guard just got mind controlled, but that's actually not that big a deal. We'll take care of that as soon as our next turn begins.
Adjusting aim!
Oh, but stasis is a bit more annoying. That basically means Atlas is going to miss his next turn.
Get out of my head!
Okay, first of all, let's do something about Green Guard. Fortunately, all of our psychics put out an aura that automatically suppresses hostile status effects. So all we have to do here is move Naz up so that he's standing adjacent to Green Guard, and that should take care of the problem. There we go. Now let's bring up some of the other guys. I'm pretty sure there are some enemies hiding at the base of the cliffs over here, so let's move Henrik up to see if we can get line of sight. Alright, let's have him hit that priest.
Top of my rage!
Okay, well, there's a gatekeeper and another codex we'll have to deal with. Oh, scratch that. It's 2 codices. We'll get back to Henrik in just a moment, but for now, let's focus on getting the rest of our guys into the fight.
Voy a ello.
Deus doesn't have line of sight, but he should still... yeah. We'll have him carefully hit those priests with a quick void rift.
Teme el vacío.
Oh, and Green Guard's still got his Skulljack, so let's use that to take out the priest on our flank.
This might sting a little!
Not bad.
Got access.
And now the priest is on the roof. I guess Green Guard doesn't know his own strength. That just leaves us with Salviti and Naz. Naz is out in a vulnerable position, but we really need him to neutralize that gatekeeper before it can start causing problems. But we've also got all these other little guys to worry about. I guess I should really do something about them first. Okay, let's bring Salviti over here into the kitchen.
Whatever you say.
Then we'll have him carefully place a grenade on these priests. Henrik is immune to explosive damage, but I always prefer not to take chances if I don't have to.
Take this!
You never know when you might get XCOM'd. That took care of one of the priests. Now let's go ahead and pull Naz back into a defensive position. And I guess we should pull Henrik back as well, just to be on the safe side.
Here I come.
Now what's this guy doing? Okay, he just put Henrik into stasis. That's annoying, but it could have been worse. And here comes a psionic bomb. We knew that was coming. But it only hit 2 targets. I don't think that will actually cause enough feedback to kill the Codex. There are so many codices on the field right now. Let's do what we can to start thinning them out. First, we'll bring Atlas out the window here to get a quick flanking shot.
Tired of waiting around. Let's keep the score.
That's one down. Now let's... We don't actually have a lot of cover to work with here. Okay, we'll bring Green Guard up instead.
On your order.
Whoops. Right. Overwatch.
Target fire!
Hey, everything worked out. No harm, no foul. Now let's take out another codex.
Hostile terminated.
There we go. That's two. Now let's bring Naz up. We've only got 2 turns left to intercept that general, so we're going to have to get really aggressive here. I think we're going to have to risk bringing him down to the foot of the cliff over here.
Let's move already.
He does have that codex flanking him, but for now we'll keep him focused on neutralizing the gatekeeper over there.
We are one mind.
Nice. That certainly tilts the odds in our favor. Now let's shuffle Salviti out of the radius of this psychic bomb and...
No problem, boss.
Let's see if, Well, he could hit one of the priests, but that really feels like it's a waste of a grenade. Let's just have him use teamwork instead.
No retreat.
Now Naz can reload his gun and... It doesn't look like he can kill the codex in one shot, but he definitely needs to do something about it. Let's just lock it down with a stasis field.
Nothing gets through.
Next we'll... Oh, hold on. Well, I guess we get to take immediate action with the gatekeeper, so... Let's have it take a quick shot at the codex here. That splits the codex into 2 weaker clones, but I'm not actually sure if Deus can reach either of them. Void Rift is still on cooldown, but he is carrying the Shredstorm cannon. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work well when you're trying to aim at different elevation levels. It really does feel wasteful if I'm using an area attack to just hit a single enemy. I think we're actually better off using his Inspire ability to give someone an extra action. And since Green Guard's the only person he can see, I guess that's who he's giving it to.
Tú tienes el poder.
Now we'll have Green Guard take out that elevated codex.
X-ray neutralized.
And now we get to see what the rest of these guys do.
My power leaves me.
Henrik just took some minor damage there. Unfortunately, we couldn't get him out of the bomb's radius because he was in stasis. Now he's being mind-controlled, too.
My power fails to protect me!
We can fix that. Oof. But we did just lose control of the gatekeeper. Now we've got a codex in a flanking position. But it only did minor damage to Green Guard. I guess we got lucky.
Kalu! I am torn away!
Okay. First things first, we need to get that mind control off Henrik. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like any of our side troopers are close enough to reach him in a single action, so someone's going to have to give up their whole turn to get over there.
Already there.
There we go. Now let's immediately get Henrik back on point. We'll have him take out that annoying priest over there.
Strike for my people.
Nice. And we got some loot, too. Now we'll bring Deus over and we'll have him take out that pesky codex.
Puedo hacerlo.
Unfortunately, Soulfire's on cooldown, so we'll go with Insanity instead.
¿Me oyes? ¿Y bien? ¿Qué te parece?
Now let's do something about that codex over there. Green Guard could take a shot from where he is, but we really need to keep moving up, so we'll use Icarus Jump to get him over to the house. Oh, but he can't target anyone, so we'll cycle real quick. There we go. Now we'll have him tag the codex. I was hoping that would be enough damage to kill the codex in a single shot, but at least he did do enough damage to prevent it from properly cloning.
I can handle that. Finally!
I guess we should really do something about that priest on our flank. Well, that's annoying. Since we still have to worry about the priest, we'll just have Selvidi reload his gun and go on to Overwatch.
Ready. Come get some.
Oof, okay.
Advent's transport is in position for the evac. Don't let the general escape.
Alright, that takes care of the last priest.
Yet?
And here comes the gatekeeper. And the codex killed itself.
The Advent General is getting close to their evac point. Don't let him get away.
Okay, let's see here. We have no idea where the general is, but we know where he's going. We've also got this gatekeeper and a few psychic zombies to deal with. first, let's bring Salvidia around the side here.
I'm going.
Now let's bring up Deus and see if he can neutralize that gatekeeper.
No hay problema, jefe.
I don't really like his chances of success with Dominate, so I think we'll just hit the thing with Stasis instead. It's more reliable.
Mi mente es mi escudo.
That frees up the rest of our squad so we can focus on doing something crazy. If Henrik can just draw line of sight to the Advent General, it'll give us a lot more options.
There, the elder
Aha!
lost in my
Okay,
senses.
now we're in business.
Target identity confirmed. That's the General. Take him out before they can escape. We won't get another shot at this.
Ops!
Let's get Green Guard out of the radius of that psychic bomb.
Moving to position.
As great as the Warlock's rifle is, it doesn't get free reload, so that means we'll probably use his second action to either heal someone or to hit one of those zombies with combat protocol. Before we do that, though, let's go ahead and soften the things up with a quick grenade.
This is for you.
Now let's start rushing our psychics up. We'll move Naz up near this window. It's very important that he has line of sight to Henrik. Actually, just to be on the safe side, maybe we should put him out here near the corner of the house.
Here I come.
Now we'll give Henrik an extra
I'm with
action.
you.
And then Henrik will immediately Blade Rush the Advent General.
We'll tear you apart.
That did a decent amount of damage, but more importantly it disoriented the Advent General. It also means the Advent General can't move without triggering Henrik's Blade Storm. Next we'll bring Atlas up, but I don't think he's going to have line of sight. Yeah, I didn't think so. Well, we do still have options, but it's a bit of a gamble. One of our guys has a blaster bomb they haven't used yet, but I'm not exactly sure who. Atlas is equipped with a plasma blaster, but of course he's too far away to actually hit with that. Okay, well, I definitely remember that Salvidia has already used his blaster bomb. And I'm pretty sure Deus is equipped with a Shredstorm cannon. So that means I probably want to use Inspire on Naz. Here goes nothing.
You have the power.
Ah, nice. Okay. Let's get the blaster bomb deployed and take another chunk off the General's health.
Nowhere to hide.
Hopefully that did enough damage that Henrik will be able to kill the General with Blade Storm. But I think the General actually still has just enough health to survive. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens, but for now we'll finish off our turn by taking out one of those zombies. Uh-oh. Okay, the General survived Bladestorm. Ah, but he couldn't make it to the evac zone. Nice. Now we'll take a little minor damage from the zombies, but I can live with that. The important thing is that we managed to stop the General from escaping. You know, the Avatar's a lot less scary now that it's undead. Okay, let's start by taking out the General.
Righteous strike.
Nice.
Menace 1-5, kill confirmed. That's how it's done. We need to clear the area of any remaining hostiles. We can't allow them to recover the General's body.
Now let's tear that gatekeeper apart. We'll start by shredding off most of its armor. Now we'll start shuffling the rest of the squad into cover. We know the General's bodyguards are headed this way. Aside from that, we'll just keep pouring damage onto the gatekeeper.
Let's move already.
There's no returning from the void.
Huh. For some reason, that automatically killed the last zombie. Well, whatever. One less problem to worry about.
Your body grows weak.
Now we should be able to finish off the gatekeeper with one more hit.
Parece factible. Se debilita.
Ah, darn it.
Our soldiers are suffering out there. We'll need to give them some time to recover when we get back.
I completely forgot to move Green Guard away from the gatekeeper before we destroyed it. I was going to put him on Overwatch, but we'll just have him patch himself up instead. There's those bodyguards. Better late than never, I guess. After everything we've been through, we shouldn't have any trouble taking these guys out.
They were trying to shake my confidence.
First, let's move Deus up so we can get line of sight to the Lancer.
Lo que tú digas. Hay para todos.
There we go. Now we can have Henrik finish off the Lancer with another hit.
Focus strike of power.
And now we just need to psychically beat that Purifier to death.
Tired of waiting around. You're all alone now.
Or we could just mind control him. That works too.
We have confirmation. Mission accomplished.
I guess I can't really fault Atlas for being merciful. 'Tis the season.
How often we have counseled you, our loyal citizens, to harbor no sympathy for the dissident factions that hide within our walls. For in the end, they shall always betray you. Such was the fatal lesson learned today by one prominent Advent citizen. A tragic loss for us all.
Oof, I am exhausted. I think we'll call it quits here, and we'll pick up with the story next episode. I'll see you then. Oh, and happy holidays.